Okay, so
Please be advised, the following program is for adult audience only. Explicit language is used. You have been warned.
yep, mainly Questo.
Fuck you.
Welcome to Let Me Ask You a Question, episode 14. I'm your host, Mike D.
This is Quest.
I'm on page.
I'm on page.
I don't care.
Your full
I
name.
don't have anything to hide.
As you can clearly see, we have Amon back with us today.
You're gonna get a lot of hate, man.
Yeah, they
Who I am?
probably.
Send it.
All right, cool. Remember, I'm on page at
And notify it. Certify and all that good stuff. Might not read it, but your freedom.
all right.
Just
And what we're going to talk about today is xenophobia.
Yep.
All right, so Quest, real quick, what xenophobia is?
An intense or irrational dislike or fear of people from other countries. Donald Trump speeches.
Exactly. That is the easiest way to put it. All right, so what Donald Trump's campaign has done is bring out all the worst in America.
White America.
Well, white America. No, America, period, because we got 30% of black folks voting for him, too.
We don't claim them. The black delegation has agreed to release them.
Okay, I don't remember this meeting. So,
I disagree. I think the black diaspora should embrace everyone so we're not one homogenous group.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, according to white America, we all N-words.
You know, you're very racist. You always talk about white America, black America. Why are you always putting these separations in between
I'm saying,
people?
you have two facets of America. That's just a reality. Like, it shouldn't be that way, but the fact of the matter is,
But let's not forget what we talked about in episode 9, where we're trying to erase.
I'm trying, and I agree, and I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is the fact that you have these views of this part of America and this part of America is a problem.
Okay.
Xenophobia.
Yeah.
All right. So, but do you really think that fears are legit? As far as people coming into this country and supposedly taking it over?
No.
Depends on what they mean.
True. And no. The reason I say no is because if we read our American history right, we did the exact same thing. If anybody should have xenophobia, it's American Indians.
I'm sure they do.
I'm pretty sure they do.
They are
at
the
this
only
point.
ones justified to have xenophobia.
I even saw a post on Facebook where a guy was at a Trump rally telling them they need to go back.
Go back to Europe, you bloody wanker.
No, it was an American Indian guy
I know.
telling the Trump people at the rally, no, you guys need to go back. We didn't ask for you to come here. You're taking all our jobs and land. It was hilarious.
And he's right. On this soil of North America, American Indians are the only one who have the right to be xenophobic.
Turtle Island.
They're the only ones.
Turtle Island. What's that?
The U.S., if you look at the shape of it, that's what
It's
some of
almost like a turtle.
the Northeast tribes refer to the country.
It's Turtle Island. Huh. I
You
didn't know
you
that.
look at the head of Maine and all that. That's like the head and the body, and then the branching off of Florida and the other areas.
I mean,
like the tail and legs.
I
roughly.
get it. I get it. I get it.
They're the only ones still. Again, they're the only ones who have a right to be xenophobic.
How
Because
many
they
times
see
you gonna
the
say that?
effects of it.
Huh?
How many times you gonna say that?
Till people really understand it.
Okay. So, let me run down a couple of facts here. Okay. So, I'm pulling my facts from www.epi.org. A study poll in 2014 referring to 2012. More than 40 million immigrants reside in the U.S. So that accounts for 13% of the total U.S. population.
Huh. We only 13% of the U.S. total population too, so.
So foreigners basically account for the same percentage as
Black people.
black people. Huh. That's interesting.
Well, it's kind of skewed in some ways because you got some Asian Hispanics and some white people and some black people also mark white.
Of course, you have to define what they mean by immigrants by the. I'm guessing this is going by the U.S. Census Bureau.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess they're pulling in basically people who come in and apply for.
So are they talking about first wave immigrants?
I don't know. I gotta dig in here a little bit.
Well, why are you doing that? A net loss of 140,000 immigrants from 2009 to 2014. Mostly Mexican immigrants. So more Mexicans have been leaving the U.S. between 2009 to 2014 than have been coming in.
Well, like El Presidente said, we're not building your fucking wall.
No, you said it fucking right. Fucking walls. You gotta put extra emphasis on fucking.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. I swear, if Trump becomes president and he talking about building this wall, I'm not paying taxes no more.
I like that president.
He go hard.
Yeah.
He went harder than Obama.
Oh man.
That's what his wife said.
Oh, did y'all see what Obama did? How he dropped the mic.
Yeah. So
I still don't respect that.
You still don't respect him?
No.
I honestly, if you compare him to most presidents,
He's average.
I think we was excited.
I think he's a little more than average because I really think he held on to a lot of his campaign promises the best he could.
Anyway,
Except for the main one, change.
Well, that's it for another discussion.
Yeah, but yeah, we're getting off topic.
Right. Actually.
But actually, no, we can tie him in to the whole immigrant thing.
Yeah,
because he was horrible on his immigration policy. Was horrible. He has secret detention centers where they remove so-called illegal immigrants, and I find that horrible.
Huh. Well, no, I'm saying we're gonna do an episode when Obama officially gets out of office. We're gonna do a recap of his presidency.
We should.
We are. We definitely are. As soon as he's officially out of office, we're gonna take a day to sit back and recap.
So that's all the way in November.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, he's not officially out of office in November. That's just whoever.
Yeah. So.
He leaves office officially in that January.
So that January.
Yeah, we'll do it then. But anyway, from 2009 to 2014, 1 million Mexicans and their families, including U.S.-born children, left the U.S. for Mexico. According to the data from 2014 Mexican National Survey of Demographic Dynamics, U.S. Census data for the same period show an estimated 870,000 Mexican nationals left Mexico to come to the U.S., a smaller number than the flow of families from the U.S. to Mexico. Actually, they had a story on a guy who served in the United States Army but was kicked out of America. He was a Mexican immigrant. He served in the Army, and they kicked him out of the country.
That's interesting.
It's bullshit.
Hey, okay. So...
I mean, it's bullshit in the sense that this man fought for this country. He considered his country home enough to fight for. He didn't join the Mexican Army. He joined America's Army, and they still kicked him out of the country.
Check this out, right? It asks a question on the same site that I just read from. It says, are most immigrants Hispanic or Latino? And according to this, less than 46% of all immigrants in the United States are Hispanic or Latino.
I think most are European, actually.
Immigrants?
Yeah.
You think so? Well, it says only roughly 1 in 15 are non-Hispanics.
The fastest growing.
White it's saying basically white make up 19 to 2%. About 8% of that number of immigrants are black, and a quarter which is about 26.3% are Asian or some other race.
I believe the fastest growing immigrant group to America right now is the Asian community.
Yeah, they're the fastest growing. I think
they're not the biggest group immigrating here, but they're the fastest growing group.
Okay. I mean, I just find that interesting. I mean, with the Mexican immigrants, we have them actually moving back across the border. We have the Asian group actually coming in and starting to actually pick up steam, and they make up 26%.
Well, like we discussed in episode 13, I believe it was, or was it 12? No, it was 13. A lot of Asians, not all, but a large portion of Asians consider themselves or try to be white in layman's terms. So, But I find it funny that every time we talk about immigration, everybody just thinks Mexicans.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a stereotype of Mexicans now.
Well, I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, most of the Latinos in this area are actually Central American. Most being like Salvadoran.
You know, people don't take the time to look at the whole problem and see the complication of it. They simplify things. You know, you say immigrant, they say Mexican.
And that's the thing. Not every person who's of Spanish descent is Mexican.
Okay.
Now, if you were asking me how you tell that, I don't know. But I do know they speak different dialects.
So you talk about like Puerto Rican, you talking about, what is it?
Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, El Salvadorians, South Americans, Dominican is different. They all got different dialects, and some speak different languages. Some speak Portuguese.
Right. So they're not all speaking Spanish.
Right. So I think it just, to be a being of higher intelligence would be talk to them. Get to know them. Anyway, I feel as though we basically covered immigration, like in a nutshell.
I mean, are you for fixing immigration? Do you think the U.S. actually has an immigration problem here?
Yes, I do. And here's why. Because during the invasion of Iraq, yes, it's an invasion. You have many Iraqi citizens who helped American troops to the point of putting their own families at risk. And we did nothing for those people. We did nothing for them. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing. We told, you can come to the country, blah, blah, blah. But we did nothing to help these people. So, yeah, I think America, we owe people. And as far as the Syrian refugees, yes, we owe them. We destroyed their country. We owe them. It's part of being a fucking human. Like, who cares if you're a Christian and they're Muslim? Y'all all worship the same God. Gives a fuck. That's how I feel about it. Look, first of all, nobody owns one piece of land. Alright? Mm-hmm. Y'all share this fucking little blue marble called Earth. At this rate, it'll be gone because you fucking Homo sapiens. And in which case, I am siding with whatever dominant species comes down and invade us. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it.
Do you think the immigrants are taking our jobs?
No. And here's why. If, let's say, we kick out all Hispanics, right? Mm-hmm. Won't shit get done. Nothing will get done. Nothing.
When they say taking the jobs, what jobs?
Alright, so most people say, well, Mexicans are taking all the construction jobs, and okay, or they're taking all these menial jobs that most of us can have. No, they're not. It's not their fault. If you really want to be mad, be mad at corporations who feel as though, hey, I can take these people, make them do this dangerous job, pay them less than what the job is worth, and I save money. They can't say nothing because if they are here, if they're not documented, then they really can't say nothing. And if something does happen to them, I can just say, well, I didn't know. So it's a scapegoat. You're using these people as a leverage and a scapegoat to get out of paying what the job is worth. So no, I'm not gonna say they're taking a job. When we mad, when I be mad at these corporations who feel as though you're not worth X amount of money doing certain types of labor and don't want to pay you what you're worth.
Well, one thing though, I mean, it's not true because most of the jobs they're taking us are, like you were saying, menial jobs and jobs that most so-called middle-class Americans don't want.
Right.
They take jobs working in
landscaping,
house
cleaning,
day labor, right, housekeeping,
carpentry.
Well, actually, carpentry is a high-end skill. But I mean, I'm talking about they're taking like the meanest of like the people who work in those slaughterhouses and stuff like that, or who pick oranges over in California,
or clean shit off the street.
Yeah, I mean, so they're taking menial jobs that most people don't even want or even aware about. So that's not true.
Hey,
and like he was saying, that is true. Like, if you can get mad at the corporations that not only hire these people but often sponsor them to get here to specifically employ them for these jobs.
Exactly. I think the you should probably penalize businesses that oftentimes pay them the low wages and don't pay taxes on illegal workers when they come in for taking the jobs. It's not the workers' fault. It's the companies.
Right. We destroyed the war on drugs has decimated Mexico. Like, let's be real. We done fucked up a lot of shit, and they came here like, look, I'm here to make some money. The U.S. dollar is worth more. I'm gonna come here and work. It's not the average citizen's fault. Then to blame them for trying to get by on when we done fucked them over in their country. No.
You want to know? You want to know something interesting? The drug war has cost America each year $15 billion.
Yep.
So every year we spend $15 billion on a war that doesn't get any better and has no end in sight. Because
they don't want it to end in sight. And that $15 billion, guess where it could go? College education, bitch.
I couldn't say it better myself. Because guess what? If you give people a college education, again, we can show the correlation with the more educated a society is, the less violent they are.
Not even violence. Just crime in general.
Well, it's part of it.
It's part, but I'm saying crime in general. All crimes, not just violent crimes. All of crime can go down. Most people don't decide to sell drugs because I feel like selling drugs today. It's usually a reason. If you look at the demographics where there are heavy police, where the quote-unquote these major drug kingpins live at, like in Baltimore City, yeah, there are drug kingpins in Baltimore City, right. But you heavily police these areas, you destroy the community, you destroy these areas, then get mad when people say, well, I ain't going to work at McDonald's, y'all done kick me out of school, even though I'm trying to do better. The school ain't shit. Last textbook I had Ronald Reagan as the president, so I make more money on the street. So you create opportunity, and then you turn back around and say they're criminals, but yet politicians do the same shit. So I'm just saying, like, don't talk about this legal thing when you doing the same. You doing the same shit. You just doing it in a position where you're protected somewhat. Like, it's bullshit.
You know, hey Amon, I put up a graph.
Right.
How does the immigrants affect our economy?
Okay, so according to this table off of www.epi.org, it says immigration and U.S.-born shares of total U.S. economic output. So the total population is about $5 trillion.
Yeah, you can just
a little over $5 trillion in total wage, salary, and business proprietor income in 2011 for a share of 100%. Out of that total population, the U.S. born is about 4
trillion?
4 trillion, almost 4.5 trillion, which is 85.3% of the share. Immigrant makes up about $750 billion at 14.7%.
So they barely even make a dent in the in the country's economy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a blip. It's a tiny blip, but
it doesn't basically affect the country.
It doesn't affect the country whatsoever.
But actually, that's their output, so that's the income they're putting in.
Oh, so that's just the money they're actually putting back into.
Yeah, that's not the money they're taking out. That's the money they're putting in. That's the output.
Okay. So that's how much they're actually putting in. So they're putting in probably about 14% back into the economy.
So that's actually a healthy sum of money that they're actually jumping
into
the economy.
People spending money. Isn't that the point of boost economy? Get more people to spend money.
Let's see if we can find what they take out of the economy. If we can look that up.
But anyway, so Hillary won the Maryland primaries.
I don't know. What has her stance been on immigration?
I'm assuming saying like Republican. Everything that she says sound like a Republican. So I'm gonna assume.
I mean, I know in the past her and President Obama voted a bill that secure the borders.
I mean, because look, Bill when he was office did orchestrate the NAFTA and the WTO. The NAFTA was friendly with Mexico. Now he's actually recanting the fact that he did it. I'm not one of those liberals that's against free trade. I think it's actually a good thing. Most countries, as a matter of fact, don't go to war with each other who are in free trade with each other.
Right.
And I mean, when the last time you've heard of the U.S. fighting Canada or Mexico?
Exactly.
So this is what Hillary said about immigration. We need comprehensive immigration reform with a path to full and equal citizenship. If Congress won't act, I'll defend President Obama's executive actions, and I'll go even further to keep families together. I'll end family detention, close private immigration detention centers, and help more eligible people become naturalized.
So basically, she wants people to come in and become citizens. At this point, the ones that are here, all the illegal.
Well, mind you, I don't know how long she said that, so that might have changed.
I don't even like the term illegal immigration. Illegal immigrant. How are you illegal just by crossing a border? Like that doesn't even make sense to me. How is it an actual crime? That's I'm assuming that's a crime against the state, but how? Because someone moved somewhere. It's not like they moved somewhere and they're committing crimes in that vicinity. Then in that case, yeah. But if someone comes here to better their life, they're actually working. So that means they're paying, in the least, income taxes. Not income. But they're paying like sales taxes.
Yeah, they work here. They buy stuff, so they buy goods here. So that.
Yeah, I mean they're paying taxes. I don't know if they, can apply for as far as their income tax and all that. But I mean like sales tax, that's what I meant. But just by virtue of being here and buying things and working, they're contributing to the economy. I just think it's stupid to call someone who moves somewhere else for a better life illegal. I think that's stupid.
That means white people are illegal.
Everyone who didn't come here without the permission of the American Indians is illegal.
Yeah, and let's just stop just harping on the white people.
I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about, if we're going by American history, they're illegal.
Okay, but
European settlers are illegal.
Well, not just European settlers. African Americans
we didn't
are
choose
illegal.
To come here. We were forced.
Some of us
were forced. Good majority were forced.
Yeah, I would give.
And actually, after talking to a Native American, the way he tells it, we were welcomed here before European settlers. The way he tells the story.
Well, I would say we would get a free pass because we weren't brought here by our own consent.
Okay.
And American Indians, a few of those tribes, used us as slave labor too.
So, what do you think about the Japanese Americans? What do you think about
the Japanese? We held them
as far as them coming here, they came over here willfully. So again, like I said,
illegal.
According to American Indians, didn't get their permission.
They're
Goodbye.
Yup. A good amount. That means some of our friends are illegal.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I wanted to tell them that you're illegal.
But I mean, it just shows. I mean, it's just a reductio ad absurdum, which means reducing to absurdity the conclusion that they're illegal immigrants. That's kind of what I'm getting to. To get to the fact that everyone here is here illegally just goes to the fact that calling someone an illegal immigrant is just an absurd term anyway.
True. I just find it funny when we call people illegal immigrants. Like, how did you get here? How? You're not native of this land, so.
And most of the ones barking on that aren't even the ones that came here during colonial times. They're the ones that came here during the European immigration waves of either the middle 1800s or the early 1900s, and they weren't welcomed here either by the white people who were originally here.
Like Trump's family.
Yeah, I thought he was old. One of those old Knickerbockers or whatever you call him, but he's not. He's a second generation German. Donald Trump.
Yeah, Trump.
Sound like a fucking Smurf.
The Smurfs probably won't claim him.
No, Smurfs were racist. You ever watch that show?
I know Gargamel. Supposed
all the bad guys were either Jewish or Arabic. Gargamel is a Jewish name. His cat's name Azrael. They're both biblical names, as well as the witch Hagatha. That's also a biblical name. His mentor was obviously like a Muslim Arabic because he had the crescent with the star on his hat. And it makes sense because the creator of the Smurfs was a Belgian. We already know that French and Belgians were quite anti-Semitic.
Yeah, they're still racist. Not all of them. So.
Well, I mean, they dropped the ball in World War II, and that's why we've kind of treated them like shit ever since. No, not the Germans, the French. We treated the French because the French is pretty much.
Well, I mean,
The French just kind of when the Germans came, they just sort of bent over, lubed themselves up, and said, "Daka," which means okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
You gonna get a lot of hate mail.
Yeah, I know.
Send it.
But I'm pretty sure the French doesn't like the U.S. as it is.
I'm on at terpalum.umd.edu.
The French, matter of fact, most European countries kind of hate the U.S. You know,
I mean, I've actually been to Europe, and okay, so I've been to Germany. And yeah, it's a mixed bag. It depends. I mean, because a lot of the places you go are where like American military are, so it's mixed feelings. Like for the most part, it was probably quite welcoming, but there's some areas. Now, Eastern Europe is gonna hate us because Eastern Europe is all like the former Soviet republic, so they're gonna be quite anti-American. But the And, you know, Germany split between East Germany and West Germany. So,
right.
Like, the Western side is pretty friendly towards Americans. But like I said, you have some individuals that may or may not like Americans, especially, like, their military presence. When I went there, like, we were club hopping. We went to this one place, and it was less, I guess, American-friendly. And the guy kind of had this little cynical bit about him. Because we were like, we were asking him what time does the place open or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was like, great, Americans. So.
That's terrible.
You know what? And
I mean, he could have said words, so whatever.
I can't even talk
Then we went to the Heidelberg castle in Heidelberg, Germany. And it's an actual standing castle from the Middle Ages. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that work there are students from the Heidelberg University right next to it. And some of our friends, I was in a service, so when we were there, they said something snide about the military. I wasn't even mad at it. I thought it was funny. They were saying that, and this was actually true, which is funny. They were saying, the Army and Marines are stupid compared to like the other ones, which is actually true. Like they are the dumber ones of the military branches. Send your hate mail all you want. I was in the Army too, bitch. Shut up.
Actually, I did hear that too. Like.
They are, because they take the lowest ASVAB scores. Yep. The ASVAB is basically a military IQ test. It was not just like it, in fact, is a military IQ test. And the Marines take the Marines take the lowest ASVAB scores.
All right. So I had a discussion yesterday, and I'm talking with a guy, and of course we get into talking about politics. I swear I can't go a day without talking about politics. All right. And so we end up talking about how.
And my AFQT score was quite high, bitches. Now shut up. Just in case you're wondering.
Okay.
I just heard you're like black people. That's what one guy told me. He was in the army. No, he was in the Air Force. I'm just saying. I'm just telling the story.
All right. Well, how you want to tell?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say. I didn't want people to hate.
Okay, nobody wants to hear my story. Well,
no, go ahead.
I told you you're not important. I keep telling you that. Nobody loves you.
I see.
Only your mom, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we'll tell you a story.
All right. But, long story short, because I might as well skip all the way to the good parts, is that he was saying that none of the countries in the world would mess with the U.S. because we are so strong, because the citizens will come together and somehow stop the other countries in the world.
No, we won't. Hold on. Let me tell you from my personal experience. Given the social climate in America right now, let somebody come over here and say, we about to fuck America up.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure, I'm not saying it's true, I'm speaking for me, as a black person, I'm siding with them.
No, I'm gonna be like the X-Men in Civil War, which I'm gonna see next week. Anyway, I'm gonna be like the X-Men. I'm gonna stay neutral and let them battle out. Then I'll side with the victor.
Sounds like a smart thing to do.
But no, I had to explain to him, because he basically tried to say, well, the U.S. can basically be the world police, and we're not.
We're not.
We are not the world police, and had to explain to him, if we keep pretending like we are, and we piss off enough countries,
they're gonna fuck us up.
We'll become us against them, which we are trying to eliminate here,
and we will lose.
And all the countries of the world will probably decimate the United States, and then just take off.
I actually kind of disagree. I don't know if it's because I'm prior military, or I maybe read too many superhero stuff, but I think we should have a sort of presence there. The thing is, people always say Americans need to stay out of it, but they don't know that in a lot of these countries, when stuff goes down, these people are actually hoping that we help them. There's people that be like, when Americans see what's going on here, they'll help us. They hope that we'll help.
Yeah, but you know what the issue? Yeah, the issue is.
But I'm saying
if we are always involved in their conflicts, we suffer over here at home a lot, and then on top of that, it makes them weak too.
I'm not saying always.
It's a constant thing here in America.
I'm not saying always, but with great power comes great responsibility. We're the sole superpower.
There's a reason why they made America World Police to satirize how much America is in everyone's business. And then they don't necessarily fix the situation. They just
make it worse.
Yeah, they blow up a lot of shit and then
leave.
but and then another thing is, especially in the 21st century, things are so interconnected nowadays that we can't afford instability in a lot of regions. Instability in a lot of regions will hurt us in the long run.
But we cause a lot of instability.
I'm not saying that, but despite who may have caused whatever in the past, we can't just let it.
We're still
causing it.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that. Take for instance the environment. Like there's a lot of political haggling over climate change, global warming, whatever, by the politicians. But as far as the Pentagon is concerned, it's a legitimate issue, and they've done studies on it because they know that the environmental disaster will actually cause instability in a lot of those nations.
Let me ask you. So,
which will affect us.
Okay, so we're talking about the environment here.
I'm just using that as a sort of neutral example.
Why is the U.S. screaming about right now that we're out of missiles? Why are we screaming that we're out of missiles?
I wasn't aware of that. Of what sort of missiles?
That we have sort of a missile shortage. Like because they bombed Iraq a lot.
Actually, you heard about the hospital that they blew up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have sent an unprecedented amount of all types of missiles to Iraq.
Blowing up people indiscriminately.
I wasn't aware of that.
I know because you don't watch the news. It's okay.
No, I stay informed. That's not local news.
I'm messing with you.
I mean, but I don't know of any missile shortage. I mean, maybe that's more of a.
I'm just saying, Hillary Clinton supports fracking, which.
Wait a minute. But all right, not to get off that, but we're talking about. We're also talking about. We're talking about xenophobia,
mm-hmm.
and we're getting into looking at how America in and of itself is the cause of its own issue here.
Sometimes.
And then oftentimes I think personally that we should not be involved in anything, especially over there in Iraq, at all.
But I mean, taking that sort of approach doesn't work. I mean, we've had this discussion for hundreds of years in this country of sort of just like going our own way and not intervening in anything.
I'm not saying we shouldn't intervene.
And the problem with that is when something did come up, then we wait until it's too late.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't intervene at times, but at the same time, we need to take care of America.
No,
look at our infrastructure.
We can do both. It's not like the money set aside. The money set aside for certain things doesn't cut into the.
We need to look. Honestly, the wars are right now that we're waging. These two wars that are continuously.
What two? I only know of one of. I mean, that's still.
We're still dealing with still dealing with Afghanistan.
We're still dealing with Afghanistan,
and we're still dealing with Iraq too.
Not really. I mean, though the thing going on in Syria and Iraq and other places are more.
What skirmishes? That's what you want to say.
Well, I mean, those aren't.
We still got troops.
We're dealing with the aftermath,
but we still have troops on the ground. We still fly drones overhead.
But just having troops on the ground doesn't mean it's a war. Like we have troops on the ground literally across the world.
Until we completely pull out and that we're not doing any military activity over in that country, I consider us to still be at war.
That sounds like a woman until we completely pull out. No, I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is,
I'm just saying like we have military on the ground across the world. That doesn't, and the reason why we still have a big military presence in Iraq is because we actually have a huge.
Do we not fire RPGs? Do we not shoot over there?
But I'm saying we still
do we not get into gunfights over there?
But I'm saying we have a huge embassy over there in Iraq right now. So of course that's going to require.
I'm military not just in Iraq but we have military operations that go in and chase down terrorists and insurgents over there.
A lot of these things.
We're at war. We're at war.
A lot, because
all right.
I mean, I don't want to get into but I'm just saying, the difference between a war and
what? And military action is what?
I mean, war just incorporates a lot more things, and as far as the Iraq war itself, that is over. That's not to say that there's still not issues.
It's over in name,
but I mean, it's going. But I mean, but that is part of a larger issue of going across the Middle East and North Africa. Anyway, it's not just Iraq, but like I said,
it's over.
I mean, but you still have the stuff going on with Syria, Iran.
All
Libya,
and ISIS it still stems from our activities over there in Iraq because all ISIL
Iraq, all of those areas,
all ISIL who's taking over Syria right now.
No, a lot of this stuff is also blowback from the Arab Spring back in 2011, 2012, whatever. And we're dealing with the aftermath of that when a lot of these countries overthrew their leaders.
Where did ISIS come from?
I mean, I know some of them are the former Ba'athi leaders from Hussein's party.
Okay. Most of them.
And
that just rallied.
And some were also Al Qaeda. Were part of Al Qaeda as well.
Some of them. No, but
Al Qaeda stemmed actually originally from Saudi Arabia,
and
our so-called ally.
Yeah.
So it's more convoluted than just.
But at the same time, we actually created this problem because the U.S. created the Taliban. We aided them against the Russians. We created the power vacuum here, which allowed ISIS to form. And when we turn around and say, "Oh, we need to get all these immigrants out of here," well, we created the bad immigrants.
What are bad immigrants?
Well, I'm talking about the terrorist groups. I'm not talking about.
You mean people who come here to commit crimes?
Yeah, we created those. Most people who come here to the United States though don't come here to commit crimes, but the ones that do, the United States have started it.
Well, if you're talking about terrorists, that's a different thing. I mean, you have some immigrants that come here that
belong to
like a lot. Okay, so like there's some Salvadorans that come here, part of the Mara Sutra, MS-13.
Quest, you had something to say?
Okay. Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, some do come here that are part of gangs. We're not gonna play the Trump card where we're saying all, but yes, some do come here just like we send rapists and child molesters and stuff who join the military over there. We do. It's a back and forth thing. So at the end, it's not about blaming or who sends what, because we all do it.
No, I'm just saying in the general population, you're gonna have a minority that
I know, and the same thing with the American military. But again, the point is, I'm trying to make once again is you're gonna have some people gonna do some things. You gotta have some people to do who not do it. The problem is we paint a blanket over everyone from one demographic, and it all stems there. Now, what I want to talk about as immigration is, I think it's an interesting concept, is the white terrorists that we have here, I'm not going to say white, Christian terrorists we have here who go and attack immigrants. I think that's an issue that nobody wants to talk about.
Okay.
Like the guy, I believe it was Wisconsin, who shot a man, I think it was a Puerto Rican man, and 2 Asians, the mom and the dad, because they quote unquote didn't speak English. When he on his day in court, they said he was mentally unfit for court. But he was clear enough to ask you a question, say how you doing? Oh, you don't speak English, and clear enough to kick in your door, find you, shoot 2 people because they didn't speak English. Mm. Like, I think that's something that we try to sweep underneath the rug about how we have that xenophobia has come to the point where we have domestic terrorists attacking people because their skin isn't the right skin and they don't speak the right language.
So you're talking about like you have these militia that patrol the Mexican, Texas or Arizona, New Mexico borders for illegal immigrants, and some of them actually kill them when they come over because they claim that these people will raid their farms and stuff
they're
like
included. The guy in Wisconsin who was included. Because number one, just because you're an American citizen does not give you the right to shoot anybody just because they cross their border in the fear. That is not your job. That is a federal government thing. As far as I'm concerned, you are not the federal government. You are a citizen. That is not your job.
Honestly, we have to look at the fact that most foreigners do not commit a lot of crimes and especially any illegal immigrants, because they don't want to get sent back.
Man, they do it. They go to work. They go home. They mind it. They say, "Hey, what's up?" Do their job and go home.
Some of them perform great services.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna leave it at that because that's a good note to leave on. All right. So, you know what? We're gonna leave this open. All right. In the comment section, kick us some noise back. You know, tell us what you think about this issue in immigration, and does the U.S. basically bring this upon themselves with their own problem? It's like, I'm afraid, but I create the problem in and of itself. All right. Catch you guys later. Okay. You can reach the show at facebook.com/AskLearnQuestion. Follow us on Twitter, which is @AskLearnQuestion. Subscribe to us on YouTube, which is Let Me Ask You a Question, with a question mark at the end. Search channels will be right at the top. And the Soul's official email page is asklearnquestion@gmail.com.